Hey guys, it's Rhino with Moose vs. Hunger NFT show. For those of you guys that do not know, Moose vs. Hunger is a NFT project with the goal of knocking out hunger. With that being said, there are a lot of good causes and good projects going on that we want to highlight all these different projects. So today I've got Apollo with me, and he's going to talk about his project called the Devine Ones. How you doing there, Apollo?
Doing good, Ryan. How you doing?
Good, doing really well. So, Apollo, can you let's give our listeners a little bit of background about yourself. How'd you get into crypto, NFTs, and how did you get into building the Divine Ones?
Yeah. So I'm a traditional artist, graphic designer, digital artist, 3D artist. I actually just started getting into 3D when I got into crypto. Yeah, and I've just been an artist all my life. My like professional background is a service technician. I was a master certified technician, master welder, and then I kind of quit all that in 2016. I said I'm just building my business and started building my business out of like my bedroom, and from there grew it to kind of like what it is now. And yeah, just kind of going through. I owned the studio in Meriden, Connecticut, and due to COVID, had to shut it down. And then purchased a bus and started, building that end of my business, and got me to where I'm here now. As far as crypto, I
Mhm.
got into it. I started learning about it in December of last year, and started kind of like reading up on it. Started kind of like making a buzz on Facebook and everything. So I checked it out, and then saw the Beeple, that $69 million windfall that he got from that auction. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. A digital artist just made that kind of money. I said, I gotta check this out, see what it's all about. So I just kind of like jumped on there. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, to tell you the truth. And I didn't know, I didn't do a lot of research. I just started working with Blender, started creating some 3D NFTs, put them up on Rarible at first. Nothing kind of, it didn't really do anything there. So I was like, let me try OpenSea. Tried out OpenSea, got scammed a couple times by somebody. Actually, one of them actually stole one of my NFTs.
Oh,
And
geez.
yeah, and then I kind of like took a hiatus. Ended up moving my family to Middletown, Connecticut, and
Okay.
yeah, and then kind of renovating the house a little bit, turned my garage into a studio, and then started getting back into doing the NFTs, which kind of got me to where I am now, and that's working on the bus. And basically, what I do is I work with nonprofit organizations and organizations that specialize in the mental health and well-being of children and teenagers. So, working with them, I basically created a therapeutic atmosphere, geared around light and sound therapy and art. And instead of kind of creating an actual painting, people are creating digital paintings using digital pen displays and the computers. So I found that working with these kids and these teenagers, it really started to really positively impact their lives. I'm just about basically promoting relaxation and creativity, self-expression, self-confidence, a sense of like accomplishment, and also to empower and inspire them. So I realized that it started to really help these kids out, and then due to the funding in the state and the government just kind of shutting down a lot of the art programs, and basically cutting a lot of the funding from the art programs, it kind of took a hit on my business and everything that I was doing, because that's basically my full-time job, getting
Hmm.
on this bus and working with the Department of Children and Families, other organizations. I was working with the hospital, working with cancer patients and cancer survivors, doing one-on-one sessions with them. um and it kind of took a hit, and they basically told me like, well, we can't afford you anymore. We don't have the funding, we don't have the resources. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to either cut these sessions down to almost nothing, or you're gonna have to cut your prices. So I started cutting my prices a little bit because I still wanted to work with these kids. And then it got to the point where they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to do this like once every 2 weeks, or even that, like once a month." So I'm like, "Look, if I can figure out the whole funding issue, can we keep these sessions going?" And they said, "Absolutely. If you can figure out how to, do this, make this happen for them, because they know that there's a huge need, and they know that the impact that it's made on these individuals and these young kids, that they were like, yeah, let's, if you could figure it out, let's make it happen." So I was already doing NFTs. I kind of like started thinking about it, and like, you know what, why don't I just use my NFTs as a way to fund it, so then I could provide these sessions for free to the organizations I already work with, and also work with other organizations, and also work with the low income communities, because that's where a lot of the lack of art is actually happening, due to like the No Child Left Behind program,
Mhm.
that basically focuses more on the academics and less on the art.
Yep.
So they're pulling a lot of the art programs out of the school systems. And I mean, we've already seen that before. It's been happening for the past few years, but it started getting really bad right after COVID, when the kids started going back to school.
Yeah.
Now there's no art classes.
Mhm.
And a lot of these organizations are having a hard time looking for something like this. So I came out with the Devine Ones. I started kind of selling my own NFTs, and I'm like, no, I want something that's going to be geared just to that.
Mhm.
So I started creating the Devine Ones, which are they're beings of love, light, inspiration, and creativity. So each Divine One is basically like they have a special mission, and their mission is to inspire humanity and inspire the young generation. And I have 5 up right now, and there's a lot more than that. There's other ones. There's a whole story that I'm working on. And so when you go and look at these Divine Ones on OpenSea, you can there's a little description about who they are, and kind of like what they're all about. Just a
Mhm.
brief, kind of like a brief bio. But it kind of makes people think like, wait a minute, this Divine One used to be an empty one. Which, well, what the heck is an empty one? Well, that's coming later. I'm gonna start creating other ones,
That's
and
so cool.
yeah, you'll be able to kind of start piecing the pieces together as the characters
Mhm.
start to come out, because there's Divine Ones are the first ones I'm working on. Those are going to be 10 of them, so I'm working on the remaining 5 that I'm going to
Okay.
be dropping the beginning of the year. And then there's like the sacred ones, which
Mhm.
they have their part in it. Then there's the empty ones, which kind of um kind of like roam the earth just aimlessly. And
Mhm.
it kind of ties into how a lot of these kids feel. They feel lost, and they feel
Yeah.
empty, basically. So that's basically where I'm gearing it towards. And
Mhm.
most of my NFTs are all one of ones, but these are going to be 11 editions of each one.
Okay.
So I love the number 11. I see, like, every time I look at my cell phone or something, I see 1111. I'm like, look,
Yep.
the universe is calling me. I'm put on this earth for a specific reason, and this is my calling. This is what I want to do. Helping these kids out. Inspiring them, empowering them, and doing something positive. And also, not
Mhm.
only that, but help them in a way where teach them about NFTs, teach them about crypto, teach them about the metaverse, and also use the art that they create, of the ones that are actually like interested in doing this. Use the art that they create, turn those into NFTs, and then create a fund where the money that they make can actually go to college, can go to things that can actually better their lives. So that's something, that's part of my roadmap that I'm working on now. And I'm working on trying to finish that before the year's over. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Divines Ones is just a prelude to all the other stuff that I'm going to be putting out
Mhm.
later.
Yeah, honestly, Apollo, I'm gonna link it down in the description. But your OpenSea, you said there's 5 right now, right? That you
Yeah, there's
have
five.
already created.
Yeah,
Um, those are like they are works of art. They really are.
thank you.
Usually you kind of get like a lot of these projects, and not knocking them at all, but the PFP projects and stuff like that, a little bit more basic. Your guys is it like you said, it's almost like a one of one work of art. It's crazy that you literally went from the trades and then into doing what you do with the schools. That's so cool. And then the NFT thing just kind of came up after you saw Beeple, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. We can take that. And nothing wrong with him making a ton of money, but if we can take some of that money and put it towards good, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Totally cool. So you're saying so short term goals, try to fund the bus again. Basically, is that one of the big things short term?
Yeah, right now, short term is just get the bus back on the road because of
Okay.
the lack of the funding and everything. The bus is literally sitting next to my garage most of the time.
Mhm.
Today I had a session, and that was that's probably like I'm probably gonna have another one maybe in the next week or so. But
Okay.
yeah, it went from being on the road 3-4 times a week to now it's like once every 2 weeks. So I want to,
Mhm.
my goal, my short term goal is to get enough funding to keep this bus on the road, and just start building up my clientele again, start getting some of the organizations that I was working with before back on board, start continue to work with some of these teenagers and some of these kids that I was working with before, and also get into some of these low income communities, and starting to work with some of the kids there. I was doing that in my studio, but like I said, I mean, due to COVID, everything kind of shut down. So
Shut down. Yeah.
yeah, so that's my short-term goal. My long-term goal right now is build a fleet of these buses and
Mhm.
have take over Connecticut right now. I'm
Yeah.
limited to where I can go,
Absolutely.
um
Mhm.
because I'm only one man with a bus, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna make a huge impact on these kids regardless. And this is something that is really, really, really important to me. And yeah, that build other buses and have at least 1 to 2 buses in each county. And if it goes that well, then I'm looking to start taking it to the other states, and maybe Massachusetts or New York or something. So
Yeah, then that's awesome, and I love that you're taking, you know, um, the school districts and stuff like that. A lot of times, like you said, it's the first on the chopping block is the arts and stuff like that. And that's arguably the thing that a lot of these kids, kind of cling to and kind of develop their personalities, and they're able to be creative, and it gets them off the street. And then on top of that, you're not only just trying to provide them with the art, long term with the hopefully being able to sell this and getting them into college. That's unbelievable. So I can't say enough good things, Apollo. Really, this is
thank you,
super super cool.
thank you.
So with that being said, I know you said you got the Divine Ones, got another six coming out. Was it six more?
There's gonna be another five, so there's gonna be 5 women and 5 men.
5. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool. So those are coming out, and then you said you're gonna have a couple of different, you got the sacred ones and you got the lost ones, correct?
yeah.
Any time frame with those, or are those just coming out after the,
um
divine ones?
that is those are gonna be coming out. I want to say maybe I'm thinking about putting out a different collection, a different set of the Divine Ones. Well, that collection, maybe every couple months I'll put 5 up every month, see what happens. I'm kind of like playing it by ear. I've never really
Mhm.
done this before, so
No, it's all brand new.
it is, it's so exciting that this NFTs and all this is all brand new and everything, because I'm looking to actually get into the metaverse with the bus as well.
That'd be
um
so cool.
yeah, and that's something like I kind of put a bug in some of the teenagers' ear, like, hey, if you were able to do VR inside this bus, and be able to create a painting anywhere you want in the world, like, would you do it? And they're like, dude, I'll do this all the time. And they look forward to it, and it's something that it's something to kind of keep them out of trouble, because I don't
Mhm.
know how it is everywhere else, but I mean, I've been hearing in the news, but
Yep.
the crime rates has gone up, especially with the young kids.
Mhm.
Robin, over here, we're having issues with kids breaking into cars, and these
Yep.
are young kids. These are 15, 16, 17-year-old kids.
Mhm.
um and some of the kids that I work with, are going through substance abuse, and they're in
Mhm.
these recovery homes, and they're from broken homes, and they're going through a lot of issues. One of the girls that that I was working with on the bus, recently ended up taking her life, and it hit me hard, because I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I never really worked with anybody that ended up taking their life or anything. So it kind of
Yeah, that's been hard.
it kind of hit hard, and it made me want to push this initiative even more. Because if I can be there to mentor them and teach them how to create art, and they can use you kind of like divert their energy to doing something creative and something that can actually benefit them in the future rather than hanging out with the
Mhm.
wrong crowd or getting to depression and getting into a lot of
Yeah,
things that they shouldn't be getting into. You know, if I can save a life or help out, these kids in
100%.
any way, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and it's just an outlet, it's a
Absolutely.
positive outlet. And like we were talking, not only are they able to it gets them off this it gets I don't want to say off the street, but you know what I mean? It gets them doing something a positive outlet. And then on top of that, if they can start putting money away towards college, that's huge too. So
Exactly.
that is awesome. So I know I'm going to link the OpenSea and stuff like that. Where else can our listeners go to find out more information about the Divine Ones?
Right now, Twitter is I'm
Okay.
really I'm on Twitter like every day, so I'm always posting up stuff on what I'm working on. I always put up small, short little videos on Twitter or pictures of what I'm working on. YouTube, I have two YouTube channels. One is basically everything that I've been working on since I started my journey as an artist, professionally, and then my second one is more towards the NFTs. That
Okay.
one I haven't really been posting anything up on, because things have been moving so fast over here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start working on being more consistent with my YouTube channels,
Mhm.
both of them. And so one of them is the art of was it Art of Apollo? I don't even know. I don't even know
You're
what
fine.
it is.
Apollo, I'll
Um,
include it in I
okay,
will include it in the description so everyone
yeah,
can click on that. So you've got your Twitter, OpenSea, and your YouTube channels.
yeah.
Do you guys have a Discord or anything like that yet, or no?
Yes, I do. Yep, yep. It's
Oh,
the
perfect.
Divine Ones. It's Divine Ones
Okay.
Discord. Yep.
So I'll include that too then. And then so is there anything that right now I know you said you're slowly releasing more and more of these divine ones and then the other the I don't want to call them spin-offs, but the other categories. Is there anything that people can do to get involved in your project?
um Join the Discord so you guys can know more about what I'm working on. I'm always kind of putting up updates and trying to get people on board and try to get people excited about it. Share it, purchase a Divine One. I kind of try to keep the price as low as possible, so each sale from the Divine One pays for either one session for two kids or two sessions for one kid.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's basically about it. Help spread the word and share it.
That's awesome. Seriously, Apollo, can't say enough good things about your project.
Thank
Super
you.
excited to see where you guys go with it. And like I said, the art it really is. It's like a one-on-one piece of art. It looks beautiful. So
Thank
with that being said, is there anything else you got there, Apollo?
No, just thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Seriously. Love the project. Like I said, guys, follow him on Twitter, check out the Discord. Um, but other than that, Apollo, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, man. And
Thank
you
you.
have a good night, okay?
You too.